Mr. Speaker, sir, Honorable Prime Minister, Honorable Leader of Opposition, Honorable Ministers and Assistant Ministers, Honorable Members of Parliament. Thank you for allowing me to take the floor to deliver my statement in support of the 2019-2020 national budget. Mr. Speaker, sir, over the years, this government provided Fijians with what matters to them most. That is affordable and accessible education, water supply, electricity, better roads and bridges, improved connectivity, and the ability to make a good living. The national budget for 2019-2020 builds on our plan for a stronger economy, an economy that benefits you, your family, and your businesses. This budget is a continuation of the Fijian government's commitment to the Fijian people, one that encourages investment, enhances innovation, and drives productivity and living standards. More importantly, it is a responsible budget. Honorable Minister for Economy has taken a balanced approach, carefully taking into consideration the status of global economy and its projections in the next few years and how its impact will affect our national economy. By keeping a pulse on international trends, he has smartly prepared a budget that we have in front of us, a budget that prepares us for an uncertain future, but also seizes on the opportunities that come from these times of global uncertainty. The net effect is a budget that is balanced and prudent, one that despite consolidating still has something for everyone, preserving our citizens' way of life and ensuring the many fruits of our progress remain intact. The budget has not affected the reduction of civil servants. It has not taken away any of the social wages being paid to our citizens. It has not raised personal and corporate tax. Our VAT remains the same, and our capital work projects carries on. In many nations, budgetary consolidation means real pain. So to achieve this responsible economic management while preserving the services Fijians have come to enjoy, and in fact, growing with new programs and initiatives, is truly an accomplishment we should be very proud of. Mr. Speaker, sir, taking responsibility is something this government believes in. The budget across the government machinery has been tightened. But Mr. Speaker, sir, it is not a random reduction. It is a thought-out plan for the next 12 months on what our priorities are and how we are going to implement these, while at the same time, focus remains on growing our economy and maintaining our decade of positive economic growth. Mr. Speaker, sir, the 2019-2020 budget is about collaboration and working smarter to perform better and more with less. This budget defines the way the civil servants are expected to work. The focus is on increasing productivity and multitasking and not creating new positions for new projects. Mr. Speaker, sir, the Fijian economy is projected to maintain a 2.7% growth in 2019, with a 3% growth for 2020. This is despite the IMF World Economic Outlook projecting a decline in growth in 2019 for 70% of the global economy. We cannot and should not take a stronger economy for granted. In the backdrop of the global economic slowdown, the pro-growth and pro-business support policies smartly encapsulated in the 2019 and 2020 budget comes at the right time. These initiatives and measures will ensure that our long, unbroken positive economic growth continues. The bottom line remains that by helping our businesses grow, we are helping Fijian families earn a livelihood, have better standard of living, and secure their and their children's future. Mr. Speaker, sir, policy initiatives such as export income deduction and the 100% tax deduction on FNPF paid by employers will increase confidence of businesses and help generate jobs. The suite of tax incentives for our audiovisual industry will increase investment and film production in Fiji. These productions have and will showcase the best of Fiji to the world. Our tourism sector will benefit from the widened provisions of Short Life Investment Package, SLIP. This includes building materials, furnishing, fittings, and equipment, room amenities, plus dining room furnitures, kitchen utensils, and so forth. And it also includes specialized water sports equipment. In addition to duty exemption on capital equipment, plant and machinery is also provided with reduced duty exemptions, with reduced duty and duty exemptions, depending upon whether that hotel comes under SLIP or not. I was expecting my shadow minister to talk about some of the incentives been given in the hotel industry, but I did not hear from him, Mr. Speaker, sir. What he spoke about was ECAL increasing or making the Fiji destination more expensive. But let me come to that later on. Mr. Speaker, sir, building on the 5 pillars of modernity that the Honourable Minister for Economy laid out, my ministries will ably contribute towards sustaining the Bainimarama boom. Through our programs and initiatives, we will ensure that ministries live within their means by working smarter, empower young Fijians by giving them relevant support, spur technology and innovation through incentivizing research and development, which is our new program called RISE. Build a consistent and clear business environment that invokes confidence and investments. Keep backing businesses to invest and create more jobs, especially micro, small, and medium-sized businesses. And continue the sustainable development of our tourism industry. Mr. Speaker, sir, from the perspective of Ministry of Industry, Trade and Tourism, I welcome the development of a dedicated budget to further support our MSMEs, which form the backbone of our society. MSMEs comprise approximately 18% of our GDP, which equates to 2.3 billion, accounts for 97% of total business establishment, and provide employment to 36% of our workforce, or 60% if the informal sector is included. The establishment of a central coordinating unit will see MSME programs better coordinated across government. Collecting, sharing, and learning from data across the whole of government will ensure improved coverage and more efficient use of our resources. In doing so, we will equip Fijians with lifelong business skills. Mr. Speaker, sir, I also welcome the development of a National Youth Awards event in the next financial year. It will shine a spotlight on the achievements of young Fijians throughout our country. This will definitely encourage our younger generations to strive for excellence. Mr. Speaker, sir, the Fijian government will continue to drive reforms that will improve the ease of doing business in Fiji. In conjunction with the Singaporean government, work will continue on streamlining and redesigning processes to improve efficiency by 40%. In addition, we will be taking the construction permit approval processes entirely online, with extensive work scheduled in the next financial year to prepare for the transition. I know some criticisms were made as to why the government is working with the Singapore team. It's pretty obvious why we are working. We want to work with the best. They were number one when it came to ease of doing business. So we would like to learn from them and improve our ease of business indices. Mr. Speaker, sir, it is also important to note that the 2019-2020 budget has made provisions for tax incentives for diversification and establishment of new businesses, such as pharmaceutical manufacturing, local filmmaking, warehousing and storage facilities, retirement villages, and aged care facilities, including waste recycling businesses. These will create additional jobs and assist in the growth of the economy. It should be noted that to attract more business process outsourcing, that is the BPO services, qualifying criteria for tax incentives have been removed, such as restriction on employment number and export level. Mr. Speaker, sir, our trade commissions in China, Australia, New Zealand, Papua New Guinea, and North America successfully market Fiji as an investment and tourism destination, and also make headway for Fijian products in those markets. Fiji will capitalize on opportunities available in the Indian market by establishing a trade commission in India. This is an economy that the World Bank forecasts as the fastest growing major economy in the world. This also brings potential to grow exports with enhanced access through Singapore, Hong Kong, and Korea. Mr. Speaker, sir, tourism is the lifeblood of the Fijian economy, contributing to more than 30% of the GDP. Vista arrivals have continued on an upward trajectory with a 3.3% increase compared to the previous year. Earnings reached a record $2 billion in 2018, a 4.5% increase from 2017. Vista arrivals for the first 4 months of this year recorded a 5.8% increase compared to the same period last year. In this quarter, we have recorded earnings of $366.6 million, improving on the $358.2 million for the same period last year. Through the smart investments and initiatives of the government, we are getting better returns and high yield. So unfortunately, I cannot take the recommendation or the idea suggested by the Leader of Opposition, Mr. Speaker, sir. He wants us to follow Maldives. Maldives is not a very good example, Mr. Speaker, sir. It is one country where they may have reached 1 million tourists, but the problem is the level of environmental destruction in that country, including biodiversity, coral destruction, waste management, sewage treatment. It's a huge problem for that country. And I would recommend that you should be reading some of the FAO report on Maldives. And that would be one country that we will not touch. We will not even go near it. And why should we? Because our numbers are going up. Despite ECAL, our numbers are still going up. And it's not alarming that we should be looking at our taxes again.
Order.
Mr. Speaker, sir, Tourism Fiji will maintain its marketing activities with a more focused approach, with the continuation of the marketing budget at the same level. Tourism Fiji will continue to promote Fiji to new and emerging source regions, whilst deepening our reach in traditional market. Any improvement in our air transport brings enormous benefits for our trade and tourism. The new financial year will see the delivery of 2 A350s by Fiji Airways, thereby giving Fiji and the Fijian tourism industry a bigger footprint and a world-class travel experience. Mr. Speaker, sir, moving to the Ministry of Local Government, a sum of $12.6 million has been allocated towards the preparatory and completion of capital works projects, unlike in the past, where ratepayers had to pay a special rate for capital projects. Such funding is a genuine commitment by the government in making towns and cities a more livable place for all. Mr. Speaker, sir, the projects that are expected to be completed in 2019-2020 financial year are Namaka, Reki Reki and Langere markets, swimming pool in Lotoka, Govind Park Stadium in Ba, construction of restroom in Korovo, upgrade of Children's Park in Lambasa and Asinu, and construction of municipal mini markets in Nakasi, Mid Road, and RB Center Point in Suva, and VM Pile Road in Lotoka. Construction work will commence for improvement of ventilation and lighting at Lotoka Market and installation of floodlights at Churchill Park. Mr. Speaker, sir, preparatory work planned for 2019-2020 also include relocation of the market and bus stand in Singatoka and Lambasa, construction of a multi-purpose court in Davulevu and Nelly, sports stadium in Valelevu, new bus station in Reki Reki and Asinu, new swimming pool in Asinu, and new market in Lemi. An allocation of $3 million has been made to support the collection of rubbish from informal settlements and areas previously managed by the rural local authorities. Mr. Speaker, sir, the Ministry of Local Government has embarked on an ambitious urban planning program to support urban design protocols. With the expertise from Singapore, work is expected to be completed during the next financial year. Master plans will be used for the purpose of considering development application. So gone are the days where one had to apply for rezoning. Assist investors in understanding land use plan for the respective urban centers and upgrade open spaces and streets, including beautification program based on scheme statements. New master plans will be finalized for the Greater Suva area, Notoka City, and Nandi Town. Mr. Speaker, sir, affordable housing is a priority for this government. The Ministry of Housing and Community Development was established as a separate ministry in the current financial year to achieve government's vision of increasing home ownership across the country. Mr. Speaker, sir, the Fijian government aims to increase affordable and quality housing to low-middle income households and people living in informal settlements, and is keen to explore a well-structured solution. The government has introduced a number of innovative measures by engaging with non-government organizations, multilateral financial institutions, development partners, and private sector. The government recently signed a financial advisory service agreement with IFC to assist in the design and implementation of housing projects. 6 sites have been identified, and these sites are Davulevu, Nepani, Wainimbuku, Rewanga, Tavakumbu, and Tavua in central and western divisions. And at the moment, these sites are being planned to develop green and climate resilient housing units for low middle income households in Fiji with private sector participation. The preliminary reports from IFC are expected as early as August this year, with the total process to be completed within 18 to 24 months. Mr. Speaker, sir, the Korepita Model Town Trust will receive funding assistance of $2 million in this new financial year to extend their housing program to 140 vulnerable families. This includes widows, abandoned families, mentally ill, and disabled. The government assisted in acquisition of land and provision of electricity for the settlement. Mr. Speaker, sir, I welcome the multiple tax benefits extended to encourage the private sector investments into housing to increase both house stocks and rental homes in the market. Mr. Speaker, sir, in the new financial year, over 600 households will have access to home and land through First Home and First Land Purchase programs. This will be an increase from the 466 households assisted this financial year. The programs focusing towards social housing assistance and housing for vulnerable families and people with disabilities will continue through various stakeholders, including HEART, Habitat for Humanity, and Public Rental Board. My ministry will continue monitoring these programs to ensure effective use of these grants for intended purposes. The rural housing assistance to those living in village boundaries in the rural and maritime areas will continue. My ministry will review processes relating to upgrade of informal settlements to reduce time and to remove obstacles. A housing advisor will be engaged to strengthen the legal and operational framework, and this is only happening because the New Zealand government is assisting us in getting the right person for this particular assignment. Mr. Speaker, sir, in the new financial year, 183 households in Lendrusasa and Duvu settlements will receive their targets. Civil works for Waindamu Damu will be complete, formalizing land tenure for another 240 households. And engineering plans will be completed for Dombati Stage 2 and 3, Wakanisila, Filfo, Sakoda, Tavela, Torre, and Gawaya. An additional 1,187 households will benefit from this development project. My ministry will also continue acquiring more development leases and undertake initial feasibility studies in developing greenfield sites. Mr. Speaker, sir, as I said from the start, this budget is about our future. A future we want to secure against challenges posed by the global economic downturn. This budget provides the much-needed confidence in the country's economy. It paves the way for bigger successes for our businesses and for all Fijians. Mr. Speaker, sir, I strongly support the 2019-2020 national budget. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.